I love it. And I'll try not to use the same word twice in the next question.
Oh, you know.
We've, I appreciate the low standards. Thank you. So we've talked a lot about concepts.
Yeah.
You also have a methodology. And when we layer the concepts on top of the methodology, now we really start to kick the door open to building these connections that develop the relationships that lead to the deals and the results and these other things that we've separated from the goals. So I would be grateful in as much time as you would like if you could walk us through your BREW methodology and how we can apply it in our conversations.
Yeah. I love that you just tied all that into a beautiful bow. The methodology is really there to design support for you, right? That we've talked about all these things within the last 45 minutes or so. And what always comes into my brain and why we created this methodology is that all sounds great, Aim, but like how the hell? How do I put that into practice? Like that's a lot, right? That's overwhelming. Even if you're telling me it's a micro moment or a 1% shift, like I'm out. It's too much. And so the more I thought about it and everything that we talk around within communication, the more I was thinking around what are those key elements that you could put into play for every single variable. So if you're going to do a cold call, if you were going to run a meeting, if you were going to a conference, any sort of interaction that you have, you can take this methodology and put it into play. So that's where it was designed. Obviously, I love coffee. We all know that by now. So the brew method came in honestly because it clarified for me, going back to clarification, how people can do this in their own way. So if we think of coffee as a whole and it being brewed, there are lots of different ways that we could do that. Right. I am a instant gratification person in the morning with coffee. So I am a Keurig person all the way, right? Quick coffee, but there are people who love pour overs. I envy you with that. I wish I had the, the wherewithal to wait for that great cup of coffee. But it takes time and it takes nurturing and all of those things, right? There are people who will only go and get a real fancy coffee from their favorite coffee shop to have the full experience and to sit in it. So the design there and thought through that is that this is yours. This isn't a methodology that's just black and white and out there. And if you follow these steps, this is what you're going to get. No, this is yours to say, okay, how do I do this? And then how do I shift it to here? And you know what? I really feel like I'm locked in here. So maybe I don't need to focus on that right now, but I need to up level over here, right? That's the design of this methodology, is to take it and make sure that you are brewing it into your own success. Now, if we take it apart, then it is being the moment. We're starting with the brew type of methodology now. Be the moment is really that prep side. We all, 100% all of us, need to prepare more. And we need to prepare differently, right? So if we're thinking about those micro moments, let's take an agenda, which is one of the easiest things. You have a meeting coming up, you have an agenda, you send the agenda over either via email or calendar invite, and you call it a day. Okay, well, that's pretty typical. Can we change that up? Can we make that a micro moment? Can we make that impactful for them? Maybe what we do is we send key three. So now I'm doing what you just did.
It's contagious.
It's contagious. 3 key bullet points instead. And then ask, what is the number one thing you would like to cover within this meeting to make sure that we implement that in the agenda? Different. 1%, right? Micro moment. So we're preparing differently and we're preparing with purpose and intent. That is your brew methodology. Raise confidence is the second one. So we talked a little bit about your confidence side. This is all that nonverbal, those cues that come into action. But then the practice, we're going back to brew. So these all align. The practice and how you're doing that. How are you showing up? Maybe that needs to be in your be the moment of what you are thinking about and how you're preparing. How do you walk into a room? When was the last time you've thought of that? How do you walk into a room with intention? And how do you grab that audience? Are you doing that with purpose? Are you mindful of your posture, your hands, your eye contact, right? Those are things we can practice and put into that thinking framework. So that's all that raise confidence part.